So we basically have to kind of see what the line is, you know, and it's long because it starts right back here.
2:30.
Right.
2:30. 2:30.
2:30, and it can go all the way around towards the street.
And back. It goes back.
And back. And then there are several people who come and sit on benches, so you've got to get that count too as well. The way that line comes in is through the elevator in the back.
Let me just add something. So we do have public safety assisting us. So there's a public safety officer keeping the line controlled,
Right.
having people stay in the line so they're not cutting, trying to avoid fights or any kind of altercations outside.
Have you had altercations in the past?
Yes.
Yeah.
People, yes. I'm first. Everybody's scared they're not going to get food, but they're going to get food because if that table gets empty, which it has gotten empty, we will give them food. We'll go in the back and bring food out. I've gone in myself and just put everything in a wagon and here, you want this. They will get food.
There's enough food to go around. Everybody is going to get something. Nobody ever gets turned away. Depending on what the deliveries are, they might get more of one thing than the other. So every week it's not the same. It's a different distribution.
So, for instance, we had an abundance of food last week of frozen. So they actually got 3 things last night. They got fish, they got pork chops, and they got veggie burgers. They got all 3, unless they didn't want them. You know, we try not, if you don't want it, please don't take it. Someone else will take it. We don't like to have seafood left like before into the ABAC rooms.
Yeah. Right. There's also a home delivery component. So we have volunteers for people who are shut in that we put together food packages to be delivered to certain people on the island. The other thing too is that this pantry is not just open to this community. We have people coming in from the
Bronx, Long
Island City, other boroughs that come in.
That's something that Food Bank, you have to sign on the contract. You don't turn anybody away because it's put through a city, something with the city, if I don't know, it's 311 or something that puts something out. So when anybody who has Plentiful, which is the computer system we work, once you become a customer of Food Bank, it goes out to all the pantries. So if someone went to Long Island City, when you come into our pantry and you give your phone number, it actually already comes up. So they can put in where's the closest food pantry to me, who's open on Thursday, and it'll all come up. So that's a great system. As far as what Barbara was talking about with the home deliveries, we have young students. We've tried to make it intergenerational because you know how I feel about that. So we have young students. We have someone from Cornell, Erin, who's been excellent, who comes. She comes on Thursdays too?
No,
Fridays.
Fridays.
Okay, she comes on Friday. She's there till the end. She is unbelievable. We have high school students who come in and they deliver. We have some college students, Leon, who religiously is there every Friday and helps upstairs with the line with public safety.
We had a couple of weeks ago, there was a group of undergraduate students from Cornell, and they did really very well with breaking down the boxes, moving things from one area to the next, and they were there until there was time to distribute the food, which was 4 o'clock.
And then we also have people who don't really want to deal with the public for whatever reason. And they just they'll come at maybe 5:45 and they'll just do cleanup and they'll stay there till we have to respect the place we're in because it's not our place. You know, so we have to leave it the way it is. We mop, we sweep, you know, everything is put back into our stock rooms. You know, hopefully it's not a whole lot because we gave it all out. So as far as the pantry, it's been working very smoothly, and because it's such a good team, you know, it's not like the Wendy show or the Barbara show or the Mary show. It's us together deciding what's going to work. So one thing that we're always open to suggestions. So one thing I got from one of my staff members at my job was she goes to a pantry across the street in Brooklyn from where we work. And I asked her, how does it work? Like, how much food do you get? You know, and she said, well, we get tickets. So we tried tickets before with numbers, but we never tried it this way. So one thing we're gonna start next week is if you have a family from 1 to 3, you get, you know, the amount that we always give. If you have 4+ people in your family, from now on, you're gonna get a little bit more for that family. So, you know, basically, we know a lot of the people, so we know who gets more, who has a family, but we don't know everybody.
Right.
But now on Plentiful, I can bring that up when they sign in, and I can give them a ticket. And that way, people will know to give them a little bit more.
Also, when they come in, if new people come in, for instance, and they're just learning about the pantry, you want to tell them about the form that they have to fill
Oh, the
out?
TFAP.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
TFAP.
so every year, Food Bank requires you to fill out a TFAP form, and that's how we get our food.
Yeah.
We let our volunteers take food. We let anybody. I mean, anybody who works here, everybody needs food these days, you know? It's expensive. So every year we fill out, luckily it's on Plentiful now, we don't have to chew paper. But you don't have to provide any proof according to Food Bank. And what we do is they ask if you're on any benefits. You don't have to be on benefits to get it. If you make under a certain amount, you can still get the food. It might be that you're not eligible, but that's for Food Bank food. You know, we get other food besides Food Bank,
Right.
so they still can get food.
Mhm.
You know, everybody's getting the food.
So the volunteers that you need are for which, so you really need
Strong
strong
men.
volunteers.
Yeah, Mary's very
unpack.
little. You know Mary.
Yes.
So
Right.
Mary's very short. We have women, like we have Consuelo, who's, you know, most of them are seniors,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, doing this. And I don't
Yeah.
think people realize, so even besides the fact of the pantry, what's leading up to the pantry, I don't think people realize what's going on. So all these grants, Wendy was never a grant writer. Wendy had to learn fast when we did Hope Memorial, how to write a grant for the state. So now all of a sudden I'm writing, we've got now about 4 different grants
4 different
through
grants,
Food Bank. We
right.
got with
Food Bank.
Human Resources now is another one that we got.
Mhm.
We've got Food Bank, but there's 3 under Food Bank. You know, so like I said, no money comes from that, but the grants have to be written. Contracts have to be signed. I have to do monthly reports, and every day, like with Food Bank, you order. Even with Schreier, some of the other ones, you have to order each week. So we're allowed to order what we want, or what's available. Sometimes I have to be on there 3 or 4 times a day, every day, because like there was no meat one day, and then all of a sudden, the next day, the next morning, there was shrimp. When I went on later, there wasn't even shrimp. So you have to catch it right away, put it in your cart, or you're not getting it. Once
Right.
it's in your cart, you get it.
Mhm.
So there's a lot leading up behind the scenes that people don't realize, you know? And then what actually happens that Thursday and Friday. People think it's just about opening up a pantry and putting food on the table. It's a lot more than that.
It's a lot of work. I just want to say a little bit about the volunteer team.
Mhm.
There are several volunteers that are very, very dedicated and come on a weekly basis, like clockwork, every week. Now, this is, every week means that there are several volunteers, particularly when Mary does the leading in terms of being outside on the Thursday
Deliveries.
morning for the deliveries. That's early in the morning at 7:30 on a Thursday. That day is very long in terms of the setup. So the more volunteers that we have on a Thursday, the quicker the setup can possibly be.
But the
So-
difficulty also is that you never know when the
You
delivery is
never know
coming.
when the
They give
delivery's
me a
coming.
window, and they'll call me, and they'll let me know, and then I forward it to them. So it might be the window is between 8:30 and 12:30.
Right.
And then the next one is sometime, maybe between 1 and 4. Schreier's usually there at 7:30. They're usually there.
that's
They just
their-
drop it.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
drop it. But the thing is that it's a long day.
Very long.
It's very challenging, and all of these are volunteers. And it's the lifting of the boxes, it's the breaking down of the boxes, it's making sure that the boxes are broken down properly because this is a
Take them
shared
out.
space. And making sure that everything is cleaned up afterwards. So it's, and also just making sure that everything is fresh, right? That we want it to be fresh when we put it out there. So we have to go through all of the boxes, everything. It's not just you take a box and you put it on the side. It has to be gone through.
So we used to
Right.
have compost, which made it much easier.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of things maybe that's in the box that's smushed, or, you know, like tomatoes or not, they're too overripe. And so that used to go in a bag and we bring it out to compost on Saturday mornings. There's no longer compost. So the garbage is that much more. And thanks to RIDA, they take the boxes out like Monday morning. I mean, you saw the bin that I had out there. Sometimes there's 2 bins full of boxes.
Yeah.
And that's one of those volunteers that come in at night and they're breaking down all the boxes for us. So like Barbara said, it goes very smoothly.
And it's also food and safety rules and regulations that the pantry has to follow. It's listed, it's posted, that everybody can see it. When the volunteers are distributing the food, they're wearing a mask and gloves. So.
And we also had to be trained in food safety.
Have to be trained in food safety.
We have to get certificates from them.
Yeah.
Could you volunteer for maybe a 2-hour? Do you have to volunteer for the entire day?
No. We appreciate any volunteer that comes in there. Like Barbara said, we have dedicated ones that we just couldn't run a pantry without them.
Right.
Then there's some Fabian works, but before he works, he comes in the early morning and he helps out for maybe 2 hours, I think, and then he goes off to work.
And the whole thing is set up by the Roosevelt Island Disabled Association's board. We have rules and regulations for the volunteers that we're getting ready to sign off on. There will be additional training for not so much for food services, but
customer service, civil rights.
Right, civil rights, things like that from the food bank, so they can have continued training.
What are the civil rights issues?
Well, that could be anything that people feel that's in violations, any kind of
how they're being treated,
how they're being
if they feel they're
treated
being discriminated against.
yes.
And they have to sign off on that. So that's every year. It's the state. Like my job, I have to do 10 different trainings every year. You know, so it's trainings that the state requires, food bank requires them. So everybody had to take it and sign off on it.
Yeah.
When they took it.
So it's not just people just coming in. We also have the volunteers that will specifically come in to help with cleanup.
Yeah.
Right, on a regular basis. But then we have
not just adults.
Not just adults.
Teenagers too.
Right. These are teens. These are young adults that are coming in and assisting. And some of the young adults also, depending on what the need is, will also help with the home deliveries.
And so when Barbara says need, that brings up one of the things that we really have strived for, flexibility.
Yes.
So most of the people, they'll come in, what do you need me to do? They're flexible wherever we ask them to go. They need to go upstairs, they volunteer to go upstairs. If they need to go bring food from upstairs and bring it down, they do it. Some people don't want to give out food, you know, so they say, is it okay if I do the boxes? We're flexible, they're flexible, and it just all goes together. It just works out, you know.
Works out because you've done a great job organizing this.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate that.
When did you start this?
Well, we started, remember, with PS 217 with a shopping cart. And then Carolyn from Non Million Reasons came into it and ended up 550 bags. And then we started the pantry probably in 2021, I think, up here.
Right.
And then when they came back into the senior center, RIAC was gracious enough to give us a lot of space, downstairs. And it just went from there. Food bank, once a year passed, they offered us commercial freezer and refrigerator.
Yes.
Hopefully we're gonna get more because some of the refrigerators are very old. It's just grown. It's grown, and people are so grateful because, like I said, you're not in someone else's shoes. So you might be making $3,000 a week, but if your rent's $2,000, and you have to pay for your phone, your electricity, you know, how much do you have left for food? So although you probably could buy food, but if you're getting food here, you can use that money towards another bill.
And it doesn't matter what anybody's, what their economic situation is. If they need food, they will get food.
And not only on Friday. We have people who didn't get here in time. So if someone today called me, I missed the pantry, I really need food, or I just got out of the hospital, can you send it back? We'll go down and pack it up for them. Yeah. Like I had 2 people today.
Right.
You know, since it's not far, we just have to come across the street.
Right.
It makes it very easy.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's
But-
great. It's a great service for Roosevelt Island.
Yeah. And I
We
think
love,
it's-
I think people just love giving back to the community.
Right.
So as much as they're happy, I mean, I do this for a living, and that's what makes me happy, even though I'm getting ready to retire. I'm gonna miss that, you know, servicing there, so I'm so glad I have this. Because when someone says thank you when they walk out of that pantry, it means so much to me. But we're so happy that they're happy. You know, that
we need to let people know also, there are a lot of people who still don't know that there is a food pantry here.
or embarrassed to come.
Right, they have no idea, and when they hear that it's the Roosevelt Island Disabled Association, they think it's just for that segment.
Right.
And maybe what's the sign-up procedure for somebody?
So they can walk in the door, I register them at the door, so they register once, they go through giving their address, their phone number, and it always goes by phone number because we can send them messages if we're gonna be closed, as long as they give me a cell number.
Right.
Goes by household, how many people in the household. And then, like I said, any benefits and whatever. So then when you come in each week, they give me the phone number, it pops up. You know, we just check it off and they're
Right.
in. So they just have to give a phone number after that first time. Every year we gotta renew this.
And so what happens with the process is that when they come downstairs, and that's very regulated, how many people are allowed in a certain amount of time, so it's not overcrowded. When people get downstairs, Wendy is usually sitting there, she has to check the person off before they can go to get the food. They turn around and they come back up in the same way, and this is the way that we keep it organized.
You take the elevator down also.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, and the thing with the homebound is, it's people who are homebound. If you walk around the street and you're able to stand online, or if you have a walker and you can sit on it, we really ask that you do that because we have limited amount of people to go out and deliver, you know? So we don't like to refuse anybody, you know, but no, we don't need a doctor's note or anything, but if you really have a mobility issue, or you like someone came up to me yesterday and said, I'm going to have surgery. I'm not gonna be able to come for a while. Let me know before you go in. We put together bags and they'll deliver it to you.
Right.
Someone else came today, in fact, to the market, and she, you know, she's undergoing radiation, and she's out of it, you
Right.
know. And it's like, you need to eat. You know, when she tells me what she's eating, for dinner she's having Coca-Cola and Milky Ways. That's not a dinner. You have to build up your strength. Will you eat salads? Will you eat fresh vegetables?
Mhm.
So we took down what she likes. And we said, we're gonna send you a bag because we wanna see people be healthy. And that goes back to RIDA. We want you to live the best quality of life no matter what your disability is.
Exactly.
So let's go from the pantry to RIDA. So yes, we've been concentrating a lot on the pantry, but now that